What's going on, everybody? So today we are going to talk about the two trades that I took. One was a win and the other was a L. So we are going to start with where it all began. So it starts on a Sunday where I look for opportunity in all these pairs here, and the ones that I ended up selecting for the week was NZD JPY, EURGBP, CAD JPY, GBP, NZD, and the ones that I ended up taking was EURGBP and NZD JPY. So let me break those two down, why one won and the other I lost. So let's start with EURGBP. Open chart. Yo, I have a little cough there. Did this. So this is EURGBP. We start on the weekly. For me to take a trade, I need 2 time frames in sync. So by the time I was looking at this weekly, it was bearish. It was bullish. So we had a lower low created, something like a lower high, but then it broke above this high, making it bullish. So the weekly was bullish by the time I was looking at it. Now let's go to the daily time frame. With the daily time frame, we were bearish by the time I was looking at this market. By the time we were here, we were still bullish. Here, creating a higher high, higher low, higher high. Then we broke this higher low, making our daily time frame bearish. We had this pullback, but then the market closed within these zones here, this lower high and lower low. So the market closed within this zone by the time I was looking at it, and the daily by that time was now bearish. And then the 4-hour. So the 4-hour, by the time I was looking at it, also it was bearish, because here we had a bullish push to the upside, a shift in structure bearish, then again another shift in structure bullish, again shift of structure bearish. Now this is where we stopped with the 4-hour, and we were bearish, and we were creating something like a left head, and the right shoulder didn't complete. So here is where it came. I was waiting for that pullback. So the right shoulder wasn't complete, so I was waiting for this pullback here for the right shoulder, so that I can, capitalize on that. Now that we know our trend, the daily was bearish, the 4-hour was bearish by that time. So my decision was to go for sales on this pair here. And now it was time for me to look for an area of interest. Man, the cough is on my case. So with the area of interest, I look for it within these zones here, the lower high and the lower low. So since we are going for sale, we need three rejection point where the market reaches and rejects from, for us to put our area of interest or support and resistance. So this is where I found was the most valid. It had 3 taps. Let me pull up the line chart here so that you can see properly. So as you can see, we had one tap here, the second tap was here, and then if you go further back there, we have put this round psychological area. There was also another tap, making it 3. So I was now looking for cells around this area here, this support and resistance, because it was solid. So I was looking for my cells at that point. I knew once the market reaches there, we would have a reaction and then sell. That's why I had that point. And then I had my round psychological. Every time the market reaches at this round psychological area and the area of interest, it has a push to the downside. We reach, push, and now what I was waiting for, pull back to that zone, retest and reject. As you can see, this daily pulled back. This was a daily rejection. Hanging man. This is a hanging man. So it rejected this zone. Now I knew it was valid for me to sell. Since we had a rejection, this was a Monday. Monday was a rejection day. Then on Tuesday is when I entered this trade here for sales. And I entered this on the lower time frame. If we can go now lower time frame and then see what happened. So this 4 hour here, we had the market open, it went the upside, it rejected. As you see, it was rejecting along this point here. As I say, once we reach this point, we reject, then we head down. We pull at this zone, we reject, and then obviously we had to go down. So once we reach this point here on the round psychological area, I was like, you know what? Since the daily has rejected, now the only thing I'm looking for is a bearish engulfing candlestick so that I can sell this market to the downside. And I need a shift of structure on the lower time frame for me to also sell. So this is where I went down completely to the 1 hour. Give me a second. So on the one hour here, as you can see, we were bullish, heading to the upside. Then we shifted. Now we were bearish. And then I knew now on the retracement back up here is when I'll look for my entry. Once we have the retracement, I'll look for my entry signal, then enter. So we rejected. There was this this bearish engulfing candlestick here. I wanted to enter that point, but it was still Asian session, so I could not enter. I was waiting. Then I decided to wait for the London session. So this is where London session came in. We were up here retesting the zone, rejecting. Beautiful rejection, big bearish engulfing candlestick. So this rejection that was happening as London session came in on the 15-minute is where I entered actually. Pull back to this from here. This is where I entered from on the 15-minute. So the 15-minute, we got this hanging man. Wait a second. We got this hanging man here rejecting the EMA. And then we had this bearish engulfing candlestick. So for those who don't know, the EMA also can be used as a support and resistance, a dynamic support and resistance. So we rejected the EMA, which is a dynamic support and resistance. Right now we are using it as resistance. So we had this massive push, bearish push during London session. Then I was like, you know what, there is volume in the market, so why don't I enter? So I chose to enter this market here, and it had a push. As we were coming to New York session, I knew there would be a retracement back to retest the zone. And then from there, we had another bearish engulfing. Again, another retracement. Then from there, the market just decided to push. So I ended up closing my position. And what's happening? Wait a second. So I ended closing up the position on Friday. I took the trade on Tuesday, but then I had to hold this. I took it on Tuesday around these zones here, so I had to hold this trade till Friday. I closed it around somewhere here. I closed around here. This is where I closed at a 1 to 6, because Friday the market is closing soon, so blah blah. But if I had held on properly, I would have got a 1 to 12, or my 1 to 2 would have been hit perfectly. But I decided to close that because I didn't want to hold it that long, and yet the week has come to an end, and the market also doesn't have enough volume to, if it had, it would have pushed properly, so it didn't have enough volume, and I ended up closing. This was a winning trade, a W. Now let's go to the other trade, the one that I lost, and that is, give me a second, and that is NZDJPY, the one I lost.